Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And in this video we're going to be opening up some older Star Wars figures once again from different lines, and I'm here once again with my son Little Bossk because he absolutely loves doing these videos. Say hello.
Hi.
There he is, everybody. Alright, so we once again have got some figures from various different lines. We've got one from the Black Series 3.75, we've got 2 or 3 Legacy Collection figures, and then we've also got another figure from Return of the Jedi, although I'm not really 100% sure that it can actually be counted as a figure, but it's going to be awesome to have in something that's coming in the future for the Vintage Collection, so stay tuned for that. But first off, we're going to be taking a look at Commander Fi. Now, I don't really know too much about this figure apart from the fact that I believe he was the clone commander that took over from Gree on Kashyyyk and ended up winning that battle. That's all I pretty much know about this character. Obviously, this figure here that we have doesn't look like he was on Kashyyyk. This must be another concept of him or something. I mean, let me know in the comment section below if you know what this is exactly from. Is it from a comic or something like that? But to be honest, I've got to be honest, the reason I want to open this one is once again for the Builder Droid parts, because I am trying to collect all of these Builder Droids and I'm not too far away from getting them all now. So this is Commander Fi. We're going to open him up now, check out the figure, and yeah, this will be the first figure of the video. So first up in this figure we have the left leg of R5A2. So there you go. I'm not too sure if I've got any of the other parts for this particular droid, but it's a good start. Alright then, so here's the figure outside of the packaging, and the actual figure underneath his poncho there is a mould that we're quite used to. It is the old Clone Trooper mould there, and it's a mould that I much prefer in terms of accuracy. I think that, you know, it is actually possible to have a human being in that leg armour there, whereas obviously the VC45 Clone Troopers that I've said many times do have, you know, the legs are on the skinny side, let's just put it that way. But there he is, and Little Bossk wants to talk to you about the helmet.
So with the helmet, you put the helmet on the head.
Yeah.
And then you put this hood thing that makes it kind of look like a hood.
Yeah, it is like a hood, and it's a bit like other figures that we've got where it's sort of a mixture of soft and hard goods. This reminds me of the new Captain Rex figure that we've got from the Bad Batch, except for the fact that the hood of the poncho was actually soft goods and it went over his head rather than the helmet. It's an interesting concept there, seeing the hood over that Phase 2 helmet. I mean, if we look at the packaging, you can see that it actually looks pretty cool if it is realised in like a TV programme or in film or something like that. On the figure, I'm not 100% sure that it works that well. If I was going to display this figure, I'm not too sure if I would display it like this. I'd probably take that off and maybe even just have his helmet under his arm or something like that. But that's a different Phase 2 helmet to what we're used to. You can see some of the grooves on it there and everything. But as I said, let me know in the comments down below if you know a little bit more about this figure and where this outfit is from and where he would have worn it and things like that, because I've got to admit I'm not too up to speed on this character. Alright then, so next up we have the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker from the Legacy Collection, and man, this figure's got some issues. But again, once again, I'm not going to lie, I do need the droid part, especially with this one. I think I've got the 2 legs, now I've got the head and the mini foot, so I'm just going to need the body of the droid. But yeah, it's not a great Luke Skywalker. There you can see the artwork there of Mark Hamill stroke Luke Skywalker. Once again, I'm not 100% sure if that's too accurate. That looks to me like they've used what he looked like in A New Hope and then just put his Return of the Jedi hair on that. That looks like a lot younger Mark Hamill to me, so that's pretty interesting. But there's the figure. Obviously, he comes with his lightsaber. I think the best thing about this figure is that he does come with that different chest plate there, which is removable, and it makes it look like the 2 different parts of the scene, so where that bit flaps down and what have you. But we're going to open him up now, and Little Bossk is going to let you know what he thinks. Alright then, so here is the figure out of the packaging, and I'm sorry, I've got to laugh at this. I mean, this has not aged well, and I don't really think it was that good back in the day either. I mean, looking at this now, if you weren't 100% sure what the scale was, this could pass as a mission fleet figure just in terms of the way his body's been constructed. I mean, look how tiny his waist is compared to his shoulders. I mean, it's not great at all. What do you think, Little Bossk?
People say that this Luke Skywalker isn't one of the better ones because his arms are a bit chunky.
Yeah, I was just about to mention the arms. Look at those arms. I think the elbows don't do him any favours. The The huge hinges on his elbows there, really, really poor. If you think about how far this figure has come, the Vintage Collection VC23, I think it is. I mean, that's got its faults, but compared to this guy, Luke Jedi Knight, this is just god-awful to me. I just cannot get over the waist compared to his shoulders. I mean, as I say, if you look at a Mission Fleet figure, this doesn't look too different. He does come with his lightsaber, as always. I mean, it's a pretty good, Return of the Jedi green lightsaber. Nothing too wrong with that. And he also does come with his binders, which is always nice to get another set of binders. They're pretty good ones, painted silver. And as we mentioned, with this figure, you're able to create both scenes. You can take the plate off the front, like so, and then we can put that back on there. And that's pretty cool. I mean, I would like a Luke Jedi Knight to have that in the future. I think that would be pretty cool.
The flap's good, but I think it makes it a bit more chunkier.
Yeah, I think the fact that he does have that accessory or feature of the figure doesn't help with the fact that he looks a bit, chunky on the top. But as I said, I've had this figure for so long now. I've been, putting off opening it, but really it was for these two pieces here. And these two pieces are for the droid R3A2. So next up we have a 3.75 inch Black Series figure. It is Torin Farr. And this figure for me just shows how strange the Black Series 3.75 inch figures were. I mean, this is a really deep cut character, Torin Farr. She's a background character in The Empire Strikes Back at Echo Base. And yeah, such a deep cut character. And the whole line of Black Series was filled with some really odd character choices, in my opinion. We had that weird clone, Commander Doom, the green one. Some really, really strange choices. And something was always in common with these figures as well, and that's to do with the card and the bubble. And what was that, Little Bossk?
Our bubble actually came off.
It did, yeah, and it's very, very common. So the glue that they used on these Black Series, I mean, that hasn't even been ripped. That has just come straight off, completely dried out. And in actual fact, when the Vintage Collection came back, the first wave had the same problem. They didn't really fix it, and they used to come with bits of tape. So thank God they fixed that, because that is just truly awful. It just shows you that, at that point in time, 3.75 inch Star Wars figures was not really, a priority for Hasbro, and thank God it is now. But we're going to get Torin Farr out of the packaging. You'll probably think that she looks very familiar.
The reason why this figure looks familiar is because, apart from the head, this figure is basically Leia Organa in Hoth.
It is exactly right. Let's have a look. There she was on that card back, Leia. You all know what that figure looks like. And here is Torin Farr. And the only real noticeable differences really is the little communicator thing or something on her arm, which Leia has. And Leia's rank is a bigger rank insignia on her gilet or gilet there that she has. Apart from that, it's in exactly the same sculpt, apart from the head, as Little Bossk says. You do get these little headphones with this figure, which is a cool accessory, I've got to say. And there she is. And, she's a blink and you'll miss it character from The Empire Strikes Back, so I'll leave it up to you whether you think that head sculpt is accurate or not. She comes with a blaster, and once again, the blaster isn't good quality. This really is the start of these sort of bendy weapons and everything. This is when it all started.
Like the Leia figure, she has really small hands.
She does. Very, very tiny hands, and very difficult to get this blaster to stay in those hands. But there you go. Nonetheless, still a pretty cool figure. Good to have in the background, especially if you're building out like an Echo base. But of course, we're going to be missing quite a few figures from that scene anyway. But it's a good one to have, and I guess a good use of that existing sculpting. Alright then, so next up we have the figure from Return of the Jedi that I promised that isn't a figure. And it is, of course, one of these mail-away boxes. And on there, you'll probably be able to see that it says Bomber Monk. So this is one of those like spidery type things, and I thought this would be perfect because of course we are getting the throne room playset, which in the Book of Boba Fett had one of these creatures. Now Little Bossk is going to be able to tell you the differences between this one and the one that you saw on screen once we get this one out. So just hang on 2 seconds and we'll show you all the pieces. So there's the bag with all the pieces. Here's the little instructions that you've got inside, just telling you which legs are which and where they go and everything. So what did you want to say about this one, Little Bossk?
The one in the Book of Boba Fett has red water, and the one in Return of the Jedi has blue water.
Right, okay. So is this what you're talking about in here, where the brain thing is, yeah?
Yeah.
In there, right. Okay, yeah. So you can see that like water effect on there. That's pretty cool. You have the brain there. Right, so here he is. Let's build him up using the instructions and show what he looks like. All right then, so here he is, all built up, Bomber Monk. And I've got to say, it's, you know, once it's all built up, it's much bigger than I originally thought. If we just put a figure next to it, you can really see the scale. And really, really creepy. You do have to get the legs in the right order. There's 3 different legs, and you have to get them right, otherwise he doesn't stand up properly. And yeah, he's just not a very nice thing, is it? But of course, you do see them in Jabba's palace, so I wanted one for myself. I just want to say a big thanks to Jeff, the legend that is the king of Star Wars. He actually gifted me this ages and ages and ages ago, and we actually got 2 in that box as well. And Little Bossk has had his for ages now, but this is the first time that I've built mine. And yeah, he's going to go very well, especially once we get that Jabba's throne room or Boba Fett's throne room, whatever you want to call it. You're going to need one of these Bomber Monks. Okay then, so there you go. A really strange selection of figures in this video, I've got to admit, from all corners of Star Wars. And which one's your favourite, Little Bossk?
My favourite is probably the Bomber Monk figure, because the others are a little bit off.
Right, and what were you going to say about that Bomber Monk?
The Bomber Monk is probably less scary than the spiders in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't like those spiders. I don't think too many people like those spiders in that episode, and this one's just as creepy. I really don't like the back of it. That's one of the things that creeps me out about spiders a lot is the back of the body of them. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of them at all, but looking at the figures here, I mean, this one, the Bomber Monk, is going to be awesome in the collection. Not really too sure where I'm going to display him. She's going to be great for the Echo base, and this one, let's be honest, is a pretty awful figure. But I've got the pieces that he came with for the Builder Droid, so that's one thing I guess. So there you go then, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a like down below if you've enjoyed it. Let me know which is your favourite figure from this, and we shall see you on the next one.